Welcome to the party, pal.
The Michael Dukes Show.
The greed and the entitlement is astounding to me.
What more could you want from a low-budget radio program?
This is a dumpster fire.
That was just BS.
It is time to get a new perspective.
We know just what you need, and we've got just the cure. Open wide and prepare for a steaming hot cup of freedom.
I just don't fathom it.
The Michael Dukes Show, streaming live across the world.
Yes, my friends, that's it. Live around the world on the internet at michaeldukeshow.com, where you'll find links to the audio-only live stream and social media sites and more. And, of course, live around the state of Alaska on this, your favorite radio station and or FM translator. It is the Michael Dukes Show. And it is the morning of the day of Christmas. It's the morning of the day of Christmas Eve. No, we're getting ready to wind things up for the year here. Tomorrow is going to be the last show of the year for the broadcast year. And we're going to be, we've already got some special guests lined up for the program tomorrow. We're going to do a little firearm stuff, but because it's Friday. But we're also going to be doing a lot of Christmassy stuff. Chris Chang, Top Shot Chris Chang, will be joining us tomorrow in hour 2. And he's going to share some of his Christmas memories and stuff. We're just going to catch up with him and hang out a little bit for a couple segments. And then we'll be finish up the year with Willie Waffle, who'll have the weekly stuff. On top of that, he'll also have some Christmas movie stuff and things like that, and some of his memories as well. In hour 1, we're actually going to dissect a recent I'm trying to stay non-political, right? To the last, and we'll talk about that here a little bit later in today's show. But I'm trying to stay as kind of non-political as possible. And there was a fascinating essay by a mathematician on Substack. And got to thank Brian for shooting me the link to this and talking about this. But we're gonna analyze her essay tomorrow, and it's about guns and it's about gun control, but strictly from an apolitical point of view, and it's the real ramifications of something like that. And it is it's fascinating. It's a fascinating thing, and I'm going to do a lot of reading from that tomorrow in hour 1 as we go through that, and we'll enjoy a little hang together tomorrow for the final show. On the program today, I half-heartedly worked on getting some guests in today, but it just didn't work out, and so it's you and me, and I'm calling this the whatever show today, because we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about, along with Christmas stuff and everything else. I've opened up the phone lines, and again, I know it's a challenge, especially when it's this early in the morning, and most of you haven't had your first cup of Joe yet. You're still trying to form cohesive thoughts, or you're powering down the next dose of Tylenol to get you over the aches and pains. So feel free to give us a ring this morning. Phone lines are open, 319-527-3864. And today we're just going to hang out. I got some stuff, I've got some Christmas facts. I've got some interesting traditions and things to talk about. I also want to talk a little bit about my philosophy in dealing with politics and how that changed over the years. I feel like in some ways I can truly identify with the whole thing of Ebenezer Scrooge, right? In A Christmas Carol. Because at one point in my life, I wasn't a filthy rich money lender who threw homeless people out on the street, or made people homeless by throwing them out on the street. But I was a guy who was so consumed with the news of the day and everything else that went on that it was poisoning me just as much as it was Ebenezer Scrooge. And I had an epiphany, and it wasn't delivered by three spirits or anything else, but it was interesting. And so I'm going to share that with you today as well. So we got a few things to talk about here as we go throughout today. But I would also love to hear from you, to hear about, I don't know, Christmas memories or your favorite holiday recipes or meals. Speaking of recipes, I should let me I forgot to launch this before the show. But it's a low budget radio show. You knew what to expect, right? I mean, you knew what to expect on this. We're going to jump over here. Don't forget that tomorrow is going to be the final day of entry for the holiday recipe contest. And that's where we've been doing this for the last few years. And it's always fun, although every year it seems to garner a little less participation. And so we're going to have to come up with something new next year, I think. But there are a whole slew of different recipes that are up right now on our Facebook page for the holiday recipe contest. And it's an easy thing to enter into. All you got to do is go over to facebook.com/Michael Duke Show, and right there at the top of the page there's a graphic with a big holiday spread on it, and it says holiday recipe contest. And in the comments, you just comment with your favorite family holiday recipe. Now, again, I love the different and unique ones. There's always kind of cool things in there. And you can go in there and post your favorite recipe. Tawny posted the eggnog pie yesterday after I said, boy, I love me some eggnog and eggnog. Anyway, she's posted eggnog pie. Let me like that because yum. Anyway, whoever has the highest number of likes on the recipe page for their recipe, who's not my wife, is going to win and get a chance. I just ordered a brand new batch of 6 o'clock club mugs, and I might be able to scrape up some Beard Curler coffee as well. I'm waiting to see if they've got a new batch all cooked up for me over there. Beard Curler is my own special private blend of coffee. And it's dark, bold, and delicious, just like me. And so hopefully that will also be here. Probably I won't be delivering the prize until after the new year, but you guys are going to win. The reason I started this contest was because, I don't know if you know, but I like to eat. Okay. If you've seen me, you probably understand. I am the Jolly Fat Man. And I thought, what better way to get some of the best Christmas recipes that you could ever want than by asking people for them. And we've come up with some doozies over the years. In fact, I think that's where my wife got the coconut custard pie recipe that she's been cooking for the last 7-8 years. I think that came off of one of our original recipe contest pages. It started out at Thanksgiving, and now we've just been doing a holiday one. Anyway, you can go back and, the best thing to do is just to go through all the recipes, find the ones that sound good to you and like those. And there's actually a tie, I think, right now. And there's not been a lot of participation. I mean, I know some of you people are just too old to have Facebook, but because I don't know. Sorry, that was very judgmental of me, wasn't it? Well, he's too old and don't know how to turn these things on. But it looks like Chris and Amy both have a tie right now for their recipes at 4 or 5 apiece. They're neck and neck. And so if you want to go out there and steal some good recipes, or just vote, You know, you don't have to put one up yourself. You can just vote for somebody else's. I did put up my Grandma Faye's bread pudding recipe because I said if we got 10 entries, I'd do that. And there it is. It's up there at the top of the page. So you can, as I promised, you can go out there and check it out. Anyway, so that's the big thing. What else is on the housekeeping? Oh, Sunday, this Sunday at 1 p.m., we're going to be putting on, the radio station is sponsoring the showing of A Muppet Christmas Carol at 1 p.m. at the Porcupine Theater in Homer. So if you're going to be anywhere on the Southern Peninsula and you want to come hang out, we're going to be down there with the family and enjoying it. And then, of course, starting Monday, the show will be on hiatus all the way through. We'll be returning to the airwaves on the 5th of January, Monday the 5th. So that's kind of all the stuff and things that are going on out there this holiday season. So that kind of lines everything else up. Go give a recipe contest. Last night we had, speaking of recipes, last night we had second Thanksgiving around my house. You know, what about second breakfast? It was second Thanksgiving. I mean, it was amazing. I got back I had to take a run up to Soldotna. When I got back, opened up the door, and all it smelled like was fresh turkey and stuffing, and it was amazing. We had a great, you know, it was just one of those things where there was no leftovers for some reason on Thanksgiving this year. I think it was because my wife sent a whole bunch of food home with my son, who happened to be visiting us. And because I came back the next day and I'm like, where's the stuffing and the turkey and oh, it's all gone. I'm like, that is impossible. We're usually eating Thanksgiving remains for, 2 or 3 days. Where is and then everybody was like, and we started talking and we decided that a second Thanksgiving was in order. So anyway, deliciousness yesterday, and I'm ready to go. It's good. The eggnog pie is there. Somebody just said they don't see it. It's right down there in the middle. It's a little photo. It's a snapped photo of an old, frayed, stained card. Those are the best ones. Those are the best recipes when you look at it, and it's an old stained fray you know what I mean, card. Just go to the top of the page, Frank, and where it says most relevant, click on all comments. Use the drop down and go to all comments, and then you'll see all of it. For some reason, sometimes it hides things. I don't know why, but it's there. Okay. We are all good to go. We're all good to go. We're up against the break. We're going to get started here with some memories and some other things. We are going to talk a little bit about why, my epiphany, my Christmas Carol mystery, miracle, or whatever you want to call it. And we're gonna find stuff out. We'll continue this discussion in the next segment, and then hour 2, and then it's the Whatever Show. 319-527-3864. The Michael Duke Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free thinking radio. Back with more right after this. Merry Christmas.
If you missed the show, you can listen to it on your time with Dukes On Demand. Oh, and it's free. Like America used to be. Streaming live every weekday morning on Facebook Live and MichaelDukesShow.com. It's the Michael Dukes Show.
Oh, it's a magical Christmas time again. Your kids are counting on you. Yeah, Dad. Now, if only someone would do something for you. Honey, headache. Oh.
Streaming live every weekday morning, 6 to 9 a.m. on Facebook Live and MichaelDukesShow.com.
Okay, I know. Double liners at the end there. I had to play the Christmas ones. That's the one that's funny. Why are you people so just bound and determined to talk about political stuff today? Ken wants to talk about deporting the homeless out of Fairbanks. Well, that's a bah humbug, Ken. I mean, what? And then Brittany says, why has the state never audited the PFD recipients? I'm sure they have. I'm sure they have. I mean, come on, guys. It's, it's just one of those things, what are you gonna do? Cindy says, Michael, I wish you and your family a joyous Christmas and many blessings in the new year. Thank you, Cindy, and back to you as well. And Frank again was asking about that eggnog pie. I just realized that I didn't see it until I clicked at the top of the page. Right under the top, there's a little. No, I don't want to multitask. Right under the like button, there's a drop-down window that says, I think it defaults to most relevant comments. I don't know why, but you just got to click on all comments. Use the drop-down, choose all comments, and then you'll be able to see everything. I don't know why it hid the eggnog pie recipe, because that's a winner. That's a winner right there. Okay. So, and then Lisa went crazy and dropped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different recipes in there, from homemade graham crackers to sourdough bread to cheesecake to turmeric tea. Anyway, you can go check all those out. But I just like some of those. Will you guys just look through those and see which ones you sound good to you, and just hit the like button? I'd like to get some more interaction. And I don't want to have to be a tiebreaker. I don't want to have to decide between, if it's a tie, then I have to decide. You know how that is. So it's good. Ken, give it a rest, my friend. Give it a rest. I mean, really. No, the eggnog pie is Tawny Boothby. So you can go over there and take a look at it. Terry asked, what are you having for Christmas since you just had turkey? What do I always have for Christmas, Terry? Come on. You've listened to this show long enough. What do I always have for Christmas? We always have the brown sugar and bourbon baked ham. And I picked up the ham yesterday. It's a monster. 26 pounds. Big bone-in ham, 26 pounds of piggy goodness. Oh man, it's awesome. It's awesome. I can't wait. Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. I mean, I literally cooked a ham just the other day because my wife last year, she was going to Three Bears and she's like, they had a bunch of half hams for $1.16 a pound or something. So she bought like 4 or 5 of them and threw them in the freezer. She's like, we got to make room. Would you cook one of these? Okay. So I did. I cooked one, I don't know, a week ago or something like that. And we just chopped it up to have ham and everything from eggs to mac and cheese to whatever. But yeah, it's going to be, it's going to be a great Christmas day. Bill's having hamburger helper. Now, Bill, I know that's a cop-out for you because I've seen your food porn. I've seen you post things that you put up on. You can cook yourself some real food on Christmas. You're just begging for sympathy. I've seen what you can cook. That's just, he's getting it for the clicks. He's just getting it for the clicks. So, Brian says, weird, the chat room doesn't show up if I'm using Firefox. Edge is fine. I mean, man, I don't know. Technology. What are you going to do? half the time it's one of those things. Chris says he's having cornbread and beans for Christmas. Well, that'll be fun. Nothing like a little natural gas on Christmas. Do I know the joke about the pig with a wooden leg? No, Brian, I don't know the joke about the pig with a wooden leg. I'm sure you can do it. Hey, I have my said any yet. I got woke up to 3 a.m. smoke alarms going off. Nothing wrong. You ever try to get the undone when your eyes are half shut? Yeah, no, dude, damn. I hear you. Nothing like, I mean, the other night I got woken up at, 3:15 in the morning by silence alarms from the station. Something had gone wrong off the air, yada. And there's no going back to sleep from that. Right? I had another hour before I had to get back up, and there's just no going back to sleep. You just might as well just get up. And so I did, because there's no getting up. There's no going back to sleep and then feeling rested when that's all said and done. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the program. It's the Whatever Show. It's the Michael Duke Show. And, we need this. That's right. I just want you to feel a little festive. I just want you to feel a little good about yourself. And we're loving it. We are loving it. All right. So we were just talking about different stuff in the chat room. Some people just can't help themselves. They just, I say I don't want to talk about politics anymore, and the first thing that they say when they bust into the chat room is something political. And I just, why? We're going to get into that here a little bit, because there is just something about politics. It has almost an addictive quality, right? It has almost an addictive quality to it that people just, I don't know why, but it's crazy stuff. Phone lines are open, 319-527-3864. Got some fun and wild and woolly facts that are going on, some weird Christmas facts that you didn't know. I've been perusing the internet for a couple days here, just kind of trying to glom some of these together. I used AI to help me. I'll tell you that for nothing. Because dang, there's a lot of info, and some, a lot of duplicated info out there, but there's some good stuff. Did you know, Mary, did you know, that Christmas was actually banned in England for almost 13 years. It was banned in England, and it was and in Boston, Massachusetts, for 20 years. They banned Christmas in both of those locations. And the reason why? It was too rowdy. It was just too rowdy for those people. We couldn't have caroling and singing and joy. Why do you hate Christmas? From 1647 to 1660, it was banned in England. And then right as it was wrapping up in England, in Boston, Massachusetts, they outlawed it from 1659 to 1681. Too rowdy. Can't celebrate the birth of our Lord. Sorry. I mean, okay. All right. That's, that seems like that's a little antithetical. Tinsel. Now I know why I never cared too much for tinsel, right? Because tinsel was, it was strips of silver. That's how it got started. Tinsel was actually silver in the trees. Later, it was tin and then lead, which, nothing like poisoning yourself as you trim the tree. But its shimmering effects mirrors spider webs, which actually came from the tradition came from Ukraine, because in Ukraine, if you find spider webs on your Christmas tree, it's a symbol of good luck in the coming year. Now there's another tradition that says it's more like the drifting of snow and some other things, but I mean, I don't know. I'm just reporting. I'm just reporting on what is going on there. Ukrainians also had the one where they had the log. That was the log thing where you beat the log. That was the other. Ukrainians have got some weird. I mean, anybody who wants to pull spiders into Christmas is. I mean, I know everybody's got the Charlotte's Web and everything, but spiders are just not my favorite thing. I mean, I don't. It's not like I run away in fear, but I mean, not like I saw. Sorry, this is a sidebar. I saw a video the other day of a woman who's she's driving down the road ahead of this other car. They caught it on dash cam, and she literally just exits the vehicle while it's rolling down the road. You see her just hop out of the car, and she just keeps walking away. And her car just kind of keeps rolling, and then it crosses the median and runs into incoming traffic, causes an accident. And I'm like, why did she? Turns out she got out of the car because there was a spider in the car. And she didn't pull over and park. She literally just exfiltrated the vehicle while it was moving and caused an accident and everything. And I'm just like, I mean, I don't like spiders, but I'm not, I have no problem smashing one if I need to, right? This chick was like, nope, and just got out and caused a huge accident and everything. Anyway, sidebar, it was the spiders. Why would you bring spiders into Christmas? I mean, they're all God's creatures, but no, not going to do it. All right. What are some of the other crazy, did you know that the first Christmas tree, the first kind of, it wasn't a tree at all. It was made, it was artificial, and it was made from dyed goose feathers. So, I mean, I'm assuming it must have been, pretty miniature, but it came from Germany, and it was dyed goose feathers, and had some, and some fruit, dyed goose feathers and fruit. That's what they decorated the tree with, not ornaments, but like little nuts and fruits and things like that. So, and the tree has been around forever. The tree, what was the greenery goes, because green goes all the way, always symbolizes rebirth and everything like that. They said it goes back as far as the Egyptians, who kept green palm fronds in that time of year to anticipate the opening of spring, and Saturnalia, which was a holiday for the Romans and the Greeks, where they kept evergreen boughs around to again celebrate the coming of the dead of winter, and it was the coming of spring and everything else. I mean, all these traditions are all pulled together and one after the other. But yeah, some kind of crazy stuff out there. Christmas, the word itself, for those of you word Nazis out there who, I mean, who you are, who say, well, you should always spell it out because it's Christ's name, and you shouldn't say Xmas, well, and they are right that Christmas is derived from the Old Middle English Christe Mas, which comes from the Older English, that's Middle English, to Old English, which is Christimasse. So Christ Mass, right? Well, but Xmas is legit. Xmas, the X in Xmas comes from the Greek letter chi, which is the first letter of Christ. The way you write Christ is X, so is Christ Mass. It's legit when you say Xmas. And it's the same thing with holidays, right? Because I remember people used to get bent out of shape about, well, we just can't say Merry Christmas. Now we have to say Happy Holidays. Well, holidays is actually a contraction of the word holy and days. Holiday is the holy days. Feel free to say holidays because it's the holy days of right? That's where it comes from. So that's the little word geek in me getting on and on about that. But that's some cool. There's some other ones. There's some other cool little things. Let's go over to the phones. Oh, Brian's on the phone. Let's see what Master Brian has to say out there this morning. Good morning, my friend. Merry Christmas to you and yours. How are you doing?
Okay, voice is now working again.
Wow.
This is my first. I haven't even yelled at the dogs yet this morning.
Okay.
So I got a Christmas memory, kind of an epiphany, and then by popular demand, I'll do the joke if you'll allow me the time.
Okay, go ahead.
So my mom's side of the family, they were a mixture of Danes and Swedes. And my grandfather was he was a machinist, did some carpentry, and he built what they called a Swedish Christmas tree which I think was his mother-in-law. She was getting on in years. I barely remember the woman, but anyway, he built a Swedish Christmas tree, which is like a center stand, and then things representing limbs of various lengths,
right,
sticking out away from it, right?
Okay.
But it's like a very two-dimensional thing. And then it had little candles that they put on the end of each of the extended things, and they would light the candles. And then they would decorate it and the whole thing. And I don't know why, but somebody got the wild hair to light these candles. And pretty soon there was flames going everywhere, because it was burning the ornamentation and the decoration. There's a bunch of screaming and racing out the door and throwing it into the street. And I don't remember who lit it, but it was a momentary of chaos. Even I, as a young child, that was probably a bad idea.
Yeah, no,
the next rendition of the thing. My grandfather installed not little Christmas lights, but Christmas bulbs in lieu of candles. So
that's funny. Yeah, let's light this thing. Let's see what happens when it. Let's put dry Christmas tree up against candle and see which one wins. I mean, I've never.
Well, it was. Anyway.
Yeah.
I don't want to steal your thunder for what I think is coming up, as far as sort of your epiphany, and I think I've had the same thing. But what I got to thinking about was your story, which you related before. I was driving into Anchorage yesterday, and the whole Rob Reiner's death and his wife's murdered, apparently at the hands of their son, got me thinking that if you cultivate a lot of anger in your house, that's the culture that your house assumes.
Yeah.
And without getting too spiritual on this, the leader of the house needs to set an example. And if you sow anger, it will radiate out, not just if it's just being angry at a politician or a situation. It tends to get absorbed by the house, and that becomes the spirit of the house.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that there's a lot of that. And I think that is probably part of the prime example of what's going on. And if you have mental illness thrown in there into that mix, then you end up with some really wild stuff. And that's the thing. It's politics is fostering kind of that feeling of anger in everything. And nobody needs that right now. Nobody needs
and it's not necessarily just politics. I mean, it can be past slights on your, past pain or trauma, as they like to say, in your past life, and that you carry it forward, and it grows.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think we need to let go of some of that stuff. And again, I'm going to talk about that here in a little bit, but I think the more people come to realize that that stuff is fleeting and it's not something that you can control, you can let go of some of that emotion. But yeah, there's some people that just, you know them. They walk into a room, they don't read the temperature of the room. They don't, they walk into a room at work or at a party or whatever, and they immediately espouse something, political or something like. They have no idea what everybody's talking about, but they just come in and drop they drop it on there, and you're like, man, you're fun at parties, aren't you? I mean, that's all. That's what your whole life is about. I mean, come on, can you not?
Yeah.
Anyway, so you were going to tell me the joke about the pig with a wooden
I
leg.
am the pig with a wooden leg.
Okay, all right.
So a few years ago, I was in Jones County, Mississippi, and I was kind of lost. I was trying to find another place, but I wasn't in a huge hurry. Anyway, I come pull up a stop sign, and I'm kind of looking on the map and looking around trying to get the bearings. And I look over, and this little ramshackle farm over there, and the guy's got a pig pen. And I look at the pig pen. There's a big fat pig in there, but it's got a wooden leg. I think to myself, this has got to be an interesting story, and I'm not in any big hurry. So I go down, I chase the farmer down and back in one of his outbuildings working on his equipment. And I said, hey, I introduced myself. I said, I noticed you got this pig out in the pen there's got a wooden leg. I've never seen that before. Can you tell me something about this? He says, son, that's the best pig I ever owned. I said, it's smart pig, had that for a while. Said, I was sleeping in the house a couple winters ago, and me and the missus had already gone to bed, and the bottom of the stove had rusted out, and all the hot cinders and ash and stuff fell out and started a fire on our floor. The pig saw the smoke and the flames and broke out of his pen, came over, ran upstairs, grabbed me and the missus and pulled us downstairs and outside in the fresh air, and the pig saved our life. Holy cow. I said, that's a pretty amazing pig. He goes, oh, son, you ain't seen nothing yet. You said I was out there plowing on the back 40, and I got a flat in the tire on my tractor, and I jacked it up. It was kind of muddy, and I was trying to wrestle the tire off so I could get it fixed, and the jack slipped, and it pinned me. And I was slowly sinking in the mud, being crushed by the weight of this tractor. And that pig, he heard my cries for help. Broke out of the pen, came running out of the back 40, refixed the jack, got the thing jack backed up, put the tire back on it, got it bolted down, drug me into the cab of the pickup or into the cab of the tractor, dropped the plow, and drove me into town to the hospital. Saved my life. I said, oh, that's pretty incredible, but how'd you get a wooden leg? Guy looks at me for a second and says, son, when you got a pig that good, you don't eat him all at once.
Oh, I saw that one coming. That's just awesome. All right, Brian.
So the response was to Terry's comment about the 24-pound
ham. Yeah. No, it was a big ham. I was digging around. I came across some hams yesterday because it's getting harder and harder to find a whole bone-in ham. Mostly it's just like spiral sliced half hams or whatever. And I'm looking for a full bone-in ham. And I came across them yesterday. And I started digging, and there was like a 16-pounder and an 8, blah, blah. And I dug all the way to the bottom, and here it was, the prize ham. Remember the prize goose in the window, young boy, go fetch it for me. 26-pounder. I'm like, this is perfect. All the ham you can eat for Christmas. So it's going to be great.
You just throw it over your head and say, Eureka.
Yeah.
Your eyes lit up.
I know it was. I had that light bulb above me and Christmas cheer and the confetti blew out, and they're like, Yahtzee, you found it. So it was great stuff. All right, Brian. Well, thank you.
Well, Merry Christmas, my friend.
Merry Christmas to you.
Happy New Year, and we will see you next year if we run into you about town.
All right. Thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate you calling in and joining us this morning. I love the Christmas memories. The setting the Christmas tree on fire. I mean, who didn't see that coming? I mean, who didn't think, well, that was inevitable, huh? I mean, now, maybe they put candles back, they put candles on the trees back in the day because they didn't have the lights, right? But I think usually those trees must have been pretty green and wouldn't burn as much. You get a real tree up in Fairbanks, and it dries out pretty darn quick. You gotta, you don't get that maybe a week before Christmas, and then you get it out of your house because it's a fire hazard. Absolutely. All right, my friends, we got more coming up. The Michael Duke Show. Merry Christmas to you. Phone lines are open if you want to share your Christmas memories, the wildest ones. I'd love to hear them. 319-527-3864. Back with more after this.
It's the Michael Dukes Show. Here's you in about 5 minutes.
Oh no, I haven't started shopping yet. Oh no!
Happy holidays. Take it easy. Streaming live every weekday morning, 6 to 9 a.m. on Facebook Live and MichaelDukesShow.com.
Okay. Let's go back up here to see what you guys had to say. Holy pork for months. What? Yeah, the needles fall off your tree and you vacuum for days, says Chris. Absolutely. I mean, because by that time you're like, okay, we got to move it outside, and then you got to get it through the door. And usually we had a tree that was big enough that it would, you have to kind of fold the bottom, fold the bottom up to get it through the door, And of course, they're just pine needles for days. Pine needles for days. But that was good because then you'd vacuum them up and it smelled like pine tree, it's evergreen or whatever. That's what it was. Let's see. Christmas being bland. Let's see. Going through. And a holly tree, said Ken, who then goes on to say holly trees are used in witchcraft. I mean, yes, there are pagan roots to Christmas, Ken. I mean, I know you probably hate to acknowledge that, but there are pagan roots to Christmas. But the holly and the holly berries that was used, that was co-opted. The holly was meant to symbolize the crown of thorns because it's all pokey and pointy. And the berries, the red berries, were there to symbolize the blood of Christ. So yes, while it does have pagan roots, all this stuff has pagan roots in paganism. But that's because the church was converting pagans and they brought some of their traditions with them and made them into Christian traditions. That's how history works, man. I mean, you must be fun at parties. That's all I can say. Just everything is something, right? Chris said, do Egyptians have winter? I mean, I guess it was a seasonal thing, but they used trees to symbolize the coming of the new spring. So I don't know if they had winter, but I'm only reporting on what I read. I'm only reporting here. That's the thing. Banned in Boston. Brian's like, they banned Christmas in Boston, like large capacity Freedom seed dispensers. Yeah, they do that as well. That's it is what it is. Frank made brisket burgers this week. Oh man, that sounds delicious. Absolutely delicious. All right, let me go down here. Politics, says Terry, a never-ending nightmare. That's kind of true. Did you know that Festivus is in 5 days? I don't know. I just don't have the energy to be disgruntled, right? If you're going to do Festivus, you have to be disgruntled. That's my understanding of it anyway. It'll be, let's see. Good morning. Renee said, I used to call my husband when I saw a spider. I mean, I just don't even know. Rick said that first Christmas tree that was made out of goose feathers. Bunch of drunks got together to cook the bird, had time enough passed, so they said, let's make a tree from these feathers. I mean, yeah, could be. All right. I'm scrolling through here. Let's see. Bradley says, fun information for the Christmas season. We moved up here from Southern Ohio 4 years ago. Ohio has a law on the books still to this day called transportation of Christmas trees. It's Ohio Code 4551.01. This law limits the number of Christmas trees a civilian citizen can carry and transport. That's government for you, right? That's government for you right there. I think you owe me a keyboard, brother. Coffee just came through my nose. I don't know what I said, but it must have been good. You know, that's what it's been good. Let's see. Winter is a seasonal thing. I mean, yeah, it wasn't like winter. It was, so it was good. Ken, again, you're just fun at parties. Ken's over here quoting scripture to me about how apparently Christmas trees are bad or whatever. I don't know. I don't really care. I'm just enjoying the season, thinking about it for Advent, thinking, about the sacrifice and the birth. I mean, Christ wasn't born in the winter, right? I mean, the historians say that most of them agree that he was born sometime in the spring. So he wasn't even born on December 25th, right, Ken? I mean, I hate to break it to you, but or do you just not celebrate Christmas at all because it's not Christian enough for you? I don't know.
If you missed the show, you can listen to it on your time with Dukes on Demand. Oh, and it's free. Like America used to be. Streaming live every weekday morning on Facebook Live and MichaelDukesShow.com.
All right. We are ready to go. Continuing on with different holiday facts and memories. Like, why red, gold, and green? Why is Christmas red, gold, and green? Oh, well, I said before, green has long been the symbol of life and rebirth. Red symbolizes the blood of Christ. And gold represents light, as in the Star of Bethlehem, as well as wealth and royalty. That's, one of those things. And according to tradition, I don't even know, what is a mince pie? I mean, again, I've got a list of weird, just random facts here. Mince is filled with mincemeat, which is a mixture of fruit, spices, and suet. So they put pork fat and fruit and spices in a pie, a mince pie. According to 105 fun facts about Christmas, that according to tradition, you're supposed to eat one mince pie on each of the 12 days to Christmas to bring good luck. But in England, again, these guys, it's technically illegal to eat mince pies on Christmas Day. In the 17th century, Oliver Cromwell banned Christmas puddings, mince pies, and anything to do with gluttony, and that law has never been rescinded. Well, don't worry, they're arresting people for Facebook posts over there. I'm sure they'll eventually arrest them for eating mince pies and pudding or anything to do with gluttony on. Did you get your Christmas cards out? No? I don't feel bad. I'm still working on mine. I know they're not going to get there in time, I'm sure. The first commercial Christmas cards were commissioned by a civil servant named Sir Henry Cole in London in 1843. That was the first set of Christmas cards. What did it have on the front? Did it have baby Jesus? Did it have a tree? Did it have Saint Nick? What did it have on it? No, it featured a family drinking wine. That was the first Christmas card. And recently one sold, well, not recently, about 10 years ago, one sold at auction in London for about 9,000 British pounds sterling. One of the original Christmas cards, 1843. So about 150 years ago, they got the first Christmas card out there as well. So just in case you were, in case you were wondering. Did you know that, of course, Santa Claus, that takes away from the kind of the traditional holiday. Saint Nicholas was of course, the patron saint of Christmas. And he was known to be very generous. He gave away all his money and did things like that. But his reindeer were really not much, were not part of the story too much. It came from the Scandinavian countries. That was kind of where because of course they had reindeer there, right? That's what pulled the sleigh. But you didn't really know the names. You didn't really know who they were and everything else. In fact, originally you can thank Montgomery Ward, the catalog company, right? Montgomery Ward, because Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was actually created. It was a marketing ploy. A copywriter for Montgomery Ward wrote the story in 1939. He wrote the story that could be given out to promote the store. It was a huge hit. They distributed 2 million copies in the first year. And then 10 years later, in 1949, Gene Autry recorded the famous song, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And then, of course, in 1964, it became the Bass and Rankin stop motion, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, with the Island of Misfit Toys. But interestingly enough, the reindeer's names were not always what they, in fact, in some of the original drafts of the manuscript, Rudolph was almost named Rollo or Reginald the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Rollo the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And all the other reindeer had a bunch of other names, including Flossie and Glossy, Racer and Pacer, Scratcher and Feckless, Ready, Steady, and Fireball. Oh, I wanted to meet Fireball the reindeer. That's, I mean, speaking of songs, Jingle Bells was originally a Thanksgiving song. It was called One Horse Open Sleigh. And it was it was originally a Thanksgiving song. But again, Christmas kind of pulls all those things together. All right, we're coming up on hour 2. I'm going to talk a little bit about politics and my epiphany about politics in hour 2. And we'll be back. The Michael Duke Show. All right. Let's from 1659 to 1681, anyone caught making merry in the colonies would face a fine for celebrating. The Massachusetts Bay Colony created the penalty for keeping Christmas. It was thought that such festivals were superstitiously kept in other countries and were a great dishonor to God. The penalty for breaking the law was 5 shillings. By the Revolutionary War, the day had so little significance that Congress even held their first session on Christmas Day, 1789. It wasn't even proclaimed a federal holiday for almost another century. That's how they didn't like that. They didn't like that. Let's keep going on. Let's keep going on here. I'm going to go back over to the chat room here. What do we got? Fireball is a second string reindeer. Man. Let's see. My MailChimp account got hacked, so no Christmas cards this year. Well, you'd send out email Christmas cards? That seems like a cop-out, Brian. I'll be honest, brother. That seems like a cop-out. I mean, if you don't buy into the commercialism of Christmas and spend $100 and something on Christmas cards like I did, I mean, the greeting card industry is such a a racket. I mean, come on. Oh man. I'm scrolling backwards here. Good Lord, Ken. Man, are you I can't. I just can't. Okay. Don't let people know the true history. Wait a second. Lisa says, don't let people know the true history of it all because it blows minds and most people aren't ready for the truth because a lot of us were brainwashed all of our lives. Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, it is what it is. Hog head meat and raisins and cinnamon. Fruity bacon fat in a pie crust. This is mincemeat, right? Mincemeat. He says, I'm intrigued enough to be curious. I mean, I'd try it. I mean, just think about it. It's essentially bacon and fruit, right? I mean, it's bacony flavor and fruit, right? Because it's suet, pork suet. I mean, okay. I mean, I'll try. I'll try it. I'll try anything once. Let's see. Heat wave in Two Rivers. It's warmed up to 25 below. Yum. That's it's nice and warm. Whew, man, that's nice and warm. No one sends cards anymore. So sad. Christmas cards were as high as $8 this year, said Kim. Boy, you got a discount. I bought some Christmas cards for the stations to send out to some clients, and they were essentially they were $1 a piece or 75 cents a piece or something when you bought them in bulk. I mean, they were not cheap. They were, box of 18 cost you $15. It was like, okay. Yeah, okay. That's the thing. Terry said my grandma made it. I'm assuming she's talking about mincemeat. Yuck. I mean, I don't know. If they're served warm, they sound pretty good. Cold, probably not so much, right? But it is what it is. That's the, wait until Saturday, said Brian, to buy for next year. I actually did come across some that were like on special, $3 a box, get them out the door. And I did buy some extra ones for next year. Don't tell anybody. Okay. All right. I think we're all caught up on everything here this morning. Is there a bad time to eat bacon? No, bacon is delicious at all. It is a year-round treat. It was a year-round treat. Morning, Jan. How are you, my friend? Rick said, my grandma made it. I thought it was good. Mincemeat. Again, just, kind of unique things. I don't know. I've never had it, but I'll try anything once. I mean, I'll try anything once just to see what it's like. And then know whether or not I ever want to do that again. It happens. Okay. Well, we're here. We're here to the next hour already. This is the fastest 2 hours in radio. Let's get into it. We will continue the Michael Duke Show. Common sense. That's pretty. I'm not even going to address it. Not even going to do it. Nope. That was not the right one. That's what all right. Here we go. Back with more.
Welcome to the party, pal.
The Michael Dukes Show.
The greed and the entitlement is astounding to me.
What more could you want from a low-budget radio program?
This is a dumpster fire.
That's just BS.
It is time to get a new perspective.
We know just what you need, and we've got just the cure. Open wide and prepare for a steaming hot cup of freedom.
I just don't fathom it.
The Michael Dukes Show, streaming live across the world.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas to you, my friends. Welcome back to the Michael Dukes Show, hour 2 of the big radio broadcast for this, the second to last day of the broadcast year for 2025. It's been a heck of a year. Got a lot to be thankful for this year, I got to tell you. I'm loving it. It's been an amazing year for my family and I. We are getting in the big groove here. We made the move last year, right before Christmas. We made the move. We got the radio stations up and running, and we've done everything. And the last year has just been a blur. I mean, I just can't believe. That we got here this quick. It's been amazing. And I hope you and yours are going to take time for a blessed, relaxing holiday season, and to remember the reason for the season. Remember, that what we're celebrating is the birth of our Lord and Savior. I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to that. Tomorrow is the final day of the show for the year. There'll be alternate programming throughout the rest of the year coming back. We'll be back on track on January 5th. That'll be the first day of the broadcast year. So for those of you who are paying attention, it is what it is. Don't forget, you can go over to our Facebook page to sign up for our recipe contest, and to get some great Christmas recipes out of that. You can enjoy it and go over there and do that as well. We're going to be announcing the winner tomorrow on the show. You got to remind me, guys, in the chat room. You got to remind me to announce a winner tomorrow. Phone lines are also open. It's the Whatever Show today. We've been talking about weird Christmas facts and some crazy stuff that people you didn't know about. I've been enjoying it, and we're getting into some good discussions and some fun times. Also, the phone lines are open if you want to share your thoughts and memories and everything else at 319-527-3864. 319-527-3864. We got one call on hold, so I guess we'll jump into that and see who's out there and what they want to talk about. Good morning. Who are you, and what do you want to talk about? Merry Christmas.
Well, morning. I just had a memory of, I've had it for a million years, I think, but Christmas thing here, Bob, outside of Fairbanks.
Hey, Bob.
Back in the 60s when I was a little kid, Mom wouldn't let me put the needle on the record at Christmas time because I was going to scratch it. But there came the day that the old Elvis album was out, and she let me put the needle on it, the old Elvis Christmas album, and I still got that album today, and I play it every Christmas.
Oh yeah,
and it's it's pretty. It means something to me.
Yeah.
But I remember the day I got to put it on there, like 68 or something like that, and when been hooked ever since. But just on top of that one there, so I changed. So needless to say, I'm a big Elvis fan. Blah blah blah. So the wife's father-in-law, long gone, but he made his wife, whatever, way back in '59, a manger out of some firewood that he split up, and we got that manger, and we got at some point in the thing, the wife, she made some of them ceramic, everybody around the manger was married, the whole 9 yards.
Right.
Well, sooner or later, here I come along. I got me, us, a Christmas Graceland. So it's Graceland all did up, and you can push the button and it'll sing a few songs. And I take every once in a while, I take Joseph and Mary and I stick them outside of Graceland. She finds them missing in the thing, and I'm like, wants to hang in a manger when you get on a big white couch at Graceland.
Right. Exactly.
But, that's kind of what I've been doing with it for years. But I'm about to lose you here on a cell phone thing. So Merry Christmas, Mike.
Merry Christmas, Bob. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. Yeah, one of my Christmas memories is when Terry and I first got married. Of course, one of the things you do back when we had physical media, Bob was just talking about records, and I had records and I had tapes. And of course, but when CDs came out, right, everybody got CDs. But that was back in the days of physical media, right? You don't have physical media hardly anymore. But I remember that we merged our music collections together, right, at one point. And it was our first Christmas together, and we were playing stuff and everything else. And well, if you don't know me, you know that I'm a little hard-headed. And sometimes when I was younger, especially, I was a little more impetuous. And I thought, in my infinite wisdom, that only my Christmas music was good Christmas music. Okay. I know that's a little arrogant of me now, and I can recognize my faults as much as the next guy. But sometime in that first couple 3 years of Christmas that we had together as a married couple, I lost the Elvis Christmas album because I was like, I don't really. And I lost the Beach Boys Christmas album, right? Because the Beach Boys had a Christmas album and everything. And there was just 2 or 3 albums that I was just like, this is just not Christmas to me, right? To me. And of course, this probably went on for 4 or 5 years. And then I ended up actually going back out and buying those albums for Terry for Christmas and giving them back to her and saying, I was wrong. That was, just, and so, it's just sometimes it's what different people grow up with. Like, Bob has got a great Christmas memory of listening to that Elvis album. That's fantastic. I mean, for me, Christmas was Bing Crosby, Nat King Cole, Sinatra, and Dean Martin and Fred Waring and the Pennsylvanians. That was Christmas. That was Christmas to me. But over the years, I've slowly brought brought everything together, and I've learned to love, the Elvis and the Beach Boys and some of these other Christmas songs, and that I just was not, that was just originally was not me, So we've got the Beach Boys Christmas album, and we've got Elvis's Christmas album, which, when did that come out? That came out in 1957, Elvis's Christmas album. And so we have a copy of that and everything else. And, but yeah, I admit it. I was a little bit of a heathen. I was kind of mean to my wife in that regard. Because I stole her Christmas music from her. I've given it back to her now. I've atoned for that. But now we listen to it all the time throughout Christmas. In fact, if for those of you who don't know, I do have a Spotify speaking of no physical media, I do have a Spotify playlist that I've been curating for the last 4 or 5 years. 204 songs, 10, almost 11 hours of Christmas music that I have been putting up together on a list for a long time. And if you want to go out there, you can go out there and find it. It's just called Christmas Classics by Michael Dukes. And I've posted the link up in the chat room for folks who have Spotify and want to listen to that. But that's my idea of Christmas music. Those are my ideas of Christmas music that we love out there. So it's great to hear from you, Bob. Thank you for sharing with me. You only think you have atoned, says Brian. Yeah, I mean, she still does mention it every now and then. I mean, not that she forgives, she never forgets. She forgives but doesn't forget. I think that's a woman thing. I'm not sure, but we'll see. All right. So what are we doing in this hour? I'm sorry. We got sidetracked with Bob there at the very beginning, which I loved. So feel free again, if you want to share a Christmas memory, 319-527-3864. I remember, we're going to get into, I said I was going to talk a little bit about my epiphany, my political epiphany here, because I wanted to steer away from politics, but this was going to be my entree into that. And so we will here in a second, but I feel compelled to tell you one of my favorite Christmas memories that I love. My folks, they had records. I mean, they still have records. They've got, they've got a big bookshelf in their living room that's, 15 feet high, but across the entire bottom row of the bookshelf it's this big built-in thing that my dad did. It's nothing but records for probably 8 feet, nothing but records. And one of the things that I remember doing and love was that Dad had, there was a whole section of Christmas music in there. And again, White Christmas, Bing Crosby. I think there was some, Rat Pack stuff in there and Tony Bennett and et cetera, et cetera. But there was a couple of orchestral versions of it. And then one of my favorite albums was from a group called Fred Waring and the Pennsylvanians. And what is cool about Fred Waring and the Pennsylvanians is that they have these very, very long involved songs. One of them is called The Meaning of Christmas. And it's a medley of all different kinds of Christmas things. And it includes the Christmas story of the birth of Christ and all these kind of things. It's like 25 minutes long, this song, right? And I remember laying under the Christmas tree, because we'd get the Christmas tree all up with the lights and everything. And I'd lay with my head under the tree, looking up through the branches of this artificial tree with all the blinking lights and listening to that record, listening to Fred Waring and the Pennsylvanians for probably till I drove my mom batty, quite honestly. But I remember that being a kid and just the twinkling lights and looking up through the tree and just, I don't know, thinking Christmassy thoughts and listening to the music. It just transports me. Even to this day, when I hear this album, which is, the whole album was called The Meaning of Christmas. And it has everything, including the meaning of Christmas, the melody, the Song of Christmas, which was it's like an 18-minute song. Although there was only 3 songs on the whole album, right? It's an LP, long playing album, 45 minutes, and it only had 3 songs on it. But anyway, it's one of my great Christmas memory. Just for music to me was always transportive. I love that. And it's a fun stuff. And of course, the best part is today you can get all these things. You can own the physical media still. You could still have a record player. You could still, but of course you can get it digitally and take it with you wherever you go. It's good stuff. All right. So in the next segment, I will talk a little bit about what my hope is for you guys to think about over the holidays, and what I would hope that many of you would make to be your New Year's resolution. And it has to do with politics, which seems ironic on a show that deals a lot with politics. Okay. But we'll talk about that here in just a minute. Okay. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere. The Michael Duke Show, common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking holiday radio. We'll be back with more right after this.
It's the Michael Dukes Show
Oh, yeah. Feeling this holiday thing. Give me some nog.
You can fake your holiday spirit, or you can just try to find it for real. Happy holidays. Good luck with that. Streaming live every weekday morning, 6 to 9 a.m. on Facebook Live and MichaelDukesShow.com.
Okay. Frozen bark with raspberries. What is frozen bark with? I don't know. I want some. What is it? Let's do it. I want frozen. They were talking about Queen Anne cordials, which are the chocolate covered cherries, and which are delicious. My favorite is the which I got from my mom because it's my mom's favorite, are the dark chocolate orange jelly sticks. You know what I'm talking about? They're the orange jellied with the covered in dark chocolate. Those are amazing. That is one of my favorite things to get around the holidays. But I don't know what frozen bark with raspberries is, but it sounds delicious. I love raspberries. So Renee says she's going to post it to the holiday recipe contest. So there you go. You guys can check it out for yourself. A little secret for those of you who are missing out and want something special for the holidays. If you go back, you can actually scroll back through my timeline on Facebook, facebook.com/Michael Duke Show. And you can actually see the previous recipe contest from previous years. It takes a little work because you got to scroll quite a bit. And I don't know if you can use the search function or not, but you can go back and you can see some of those old recipes. It's good. It's great. It's great. Yeah. John said, and we were just talking about this, John. Bacon, Yuletides. Fun fact, most traditions are pagan-based celebrations. Yes, I know, right? You just acknowledge it. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, oh no, that's where they came from. It's because the Christians were out there converting all these pagans, and to make it easier and to ease them into it, a lot of times they adopted some of the same traditions and essentially co-opted them for Christianity. It is what it is. Again, as long as you remember what the season's all about, for reals, you got it, right? You got it. I mean, the Bible doesn't talk about 3 wise men coming it just talks about wise men. So where's the story come from? I don't know. Somebody, they made it up. Anyway, kind of good stuff. Dark chocolate covered bacon. Yes, I've had those. Harold Grotzma at Big Daddy's Barbecue. He was the founder and creator of Big Daddy's Barbecue before he sold it. And he used to make those. He called them pork lickers. That's what he called them, pork lickers. It was a big, thick slab of bacon that literally, when it was cooked, it was like a big, thick stick, right? And then he'd brush on dark chocolate over like 2/3 of it. And then sprinkle just a little bit of sea salt, not too much because bacon was already salty, but that was yeah. Yeah, wait a second. Tyler just said, I got It's Merry Christmas yesterday. I hated to explain that Christmas is actually on the 25th and that there's other holidays this month. You must be fun at parties too. What is going on? I mean, what is, I can't say Merry Christmas to you. It's the Christmas season. I mean, I'm getting ready for it. I won't see you on the 25th. So again, come on, don't be that guy. Don't be pedantic. Don't be pedantic. Oh, okay. Man, only a half hour left of the show today. That's it's been kind of crazy. All right, Renee, You better post that recipe. Iced bark and frozen bark and raspberries. I want to know what that is. I'm curious. All right, here we go. The Michael Duke Show. Common Sense Radio. Oh, come all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come all ye faithful to Bethlehem. It's what the season's all about. Remembering is, it's great. Let's go back over to the phone since we've got a call on hold. Ron's on the line right now. Let's wish our brother Ron a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's. Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well, Michael. Something just occurred to me when you were talking about interesting or strange occurrences in Christmas. And back in the day, we had a Christmas tree that was, and probably nobody will remember my reference, but it was built sort of like the old girls' hoop skirts. In other words, it was hollow in the center and the branches simply hinged in.
Right.
So after I got the tree up, I was sitting in the living room looking at the tree, and when you get one of those things where, what was that? So I looked a little more critically at what I was seeing, and there were two cat faces sticking out of the Christmas tree.
They'd gotten up in the tree and were perched there, huh?
Exactly. But at any rate, perhaps somebody will remember those old types of trees and get a little chuckle out of it.
Yeah.
So have a great day. And by the way, do enjoy your vacation.
I will. Thank you so much, Ron. Yeah, no, I mean, the old trees. Remember the trees that were all aluminum? They had the metal branches and the metal. I mean, it was like there was some crazy stuff that went on back in the day. But yeah, I remember those that were basically hoops, right? Different sized hoops that went up and you attached everything to the outside of them.
Exactly. The branches sort of hinged in.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. All right. Well, thank you, Ron. I appreciate it. Merry Christmas, my friend.
Bye-bye.
All right. I hope you have a great holiday. Thanks for sounding off. Christmas memories today. 319-527-3864. All right. Let me take a moment here. And I'm just gonna leave you with this thought for the year. Okay. I used to be obsessed with politics. I mean, really obsessed with politics at a national level and at a state level. I mean, everywhere, everything that it was all, I thought that was what it was. I thought that's what it took to be a good talk radio show host. Was that, and of course I had dreams when I got started of maybe the show would go bigger and, maybe one day I could be a Rush Limbaugh of the North or whatever, and so I thought that I had to be obsessed. I thought that I had to be plugged in and understand and have all the answers and everything else. And what I discovered was, and I read an article as well. This is about the time that I had my epiphany. There was an article out there, and I can't find it anymore. There's another one of the same title that was written in 2015, and I remember reading this article, probably 2005 or something. So, I mean, probably 18 years ago, maybe 17 years ago. I remember reading this article, and the title of the article was "Politics is Destroying Our Souls." That's what the title of the article was. And I don't recall all of it, but it basically, it really opened my eyes to a lot of things. And it made me realize one thing, that politics it really is a kind of a mirage. Okay. It's part of the human story, politics has been there. I mean, Pontius Pilate and Christ and the whole thing. I mean, you want to get into throughout history, politics has been very detrimental. It's a thing that happens. It's something that we humans do, but it has been detrimental in many different ways. But in modern day politics, it is something that I think has consumed us. And we've seen that. I became obsessed. And I've told the story where my wife came to me one day and said, something's got to change because you're angry all the time. And you're angry and the kids don't like it. The kids get scared because you're angry. I'm not angry at them, but I'm just angry in general. And I realized that that's what was happening, was that I was poisoning myself by focusing on all these things that I had absolutely no control over. Right? And if you think about where we are today in the political landscape, and especially in this day and age now of the internet, where everything's instantaneous and we all know what happened across the world 5 minutes after it happens, and all these other things, it gives us this false sense of control because we feel like, oh, we know about it, so we must be able to do something about it. And the answer is we can't. We've never had a lot of input on what's going on, especially at a national level or international level, and sometimes even not at a state level, right? And I made a decision, again, 18 years ago, whatever it was. I made a decision. And that decision was I was going to care, but not that much, right? I was going to be informed, but I wasn't going to dwell on it. I was going to keep my finger on the pulse, but not sweat the stuff that I couldn't control or understand. And that transformed my life. That transformed my life to the point to where, to this day and age, everybody's gets wrapped up about something, or, I mean, even my wife, she'll come out and say, oh, did you hear about this and this and this? And I'm like, no, but thanks for letting me know. And let's talk about something else. I don't say that directly to her because that, but I mean, to me, I hear about it. I get the gist of the information. And then I just kind of stop thinking about it, because if I can't affect it, there's a scripture that says something along the lines of hope deferred makes the heart sick. So if I have a hope that I'm going to be able to change something, if I have a hope that I can make a difference in some way, or, something, and it doesn't happen, then it just poisons me. Right? And that's kind of where I've got to over the last, 15, 20 years, is I've just realized there are things that it's the old Irish proverb of, God grant me the serenity to know the things that I can change and the things that I can't change, and the wisdom to know the difference. I've discovered what I can't change. And while I stay abreast of those things and know what's going on, I just don't sweat it anymore. I figure I'm going to do the best that I can do in my hometown, among my own community, on the radio show, maybe with the state. But even when here's the thing, when the show is done for the day, at the end of the day, we could have the most brimstone and fire type show where we rant about politics or deferred maintenance or taxes or something that just gets me riled up. And the second that the mic clicks off at the end of the morning, I put it out of my mind. And I move on to the rest of my life. And I got to tell you, I am so much the better for it as a person, as a father, as a husband. I am so much the better for it. And I would hope that you guys would take some time, because we still have it. Even today, right? We've been talking this whole week about no politics. We just want to do Christmas and feel good stuff and everything else. And somebody will still bust into the chat room. And I know I talk a lot about the chat room, but the chat room is a good indicator of what people are thinking as they're listening to me live on the show, right? Because on the radio, you guys could call in, but the chat room is immediate. But I mean, I'll see people just bust into the chat room out of nowhere and immediately drop some kind of political, thing about, I don't know, illegals and Donald Trump and this and that and the other thing. I mean, for a week, we've been no politics. And the first thing they do is walk into the room and just drop a bomb like that into the room. Like not reading the room, not seeing what anybody else has said, not just boom. Because that's their whole life. Because they were me 18 years ago. They were just consumed by it. And that's all they could think of. And they were agitated. And they were just, everything was through the lens of, I mean, you've all met them, people who show up at work or who show up or you run into them somewhere and that's all they talk about is the politics. And I would just hope that during this season of the holidays, Christmas, pontificating on the birth of our Lord, so we think about the new year and how we want the new year to go and what our new resolutions are. I would hope that some of you who find yourself being agitated or angry or consumed by these things would take a minute to self-reflect and ask yourself, is this helping? I mean, first and foremost, is it helping you? Secondly, is it helping the country, the situation at large? I mean, is what you're ruminating on and worrying about and being upset about, is you being upset about it helping? Is it getting fixed? Do you have the ability to fix it? And if not, I would argue that is a Sisyphean task that nobody should be embracing. Sisyphus, rolling the boulder up the top of the hill only to have it roll back down and have to start again, right? I mean, I would just hope that as you take time off, as you get a little time with your family, as you think about the things that are important, that political stuff should not even make the top 10 of the most important things in your life, right? Let alone the top 5. I mean, it should, there are so many things that are more important than what happens in Washington, D.C. And you know what? They could spend us into oblivion. They could spend us into another crash or a depression or, some kind of financial collapse or whatever. You being upset about it now is not going to fix it. All you could do is plan the best for your family and then focus on them. That's all you can do. And have faith that things are going to work out. And just make the best plans that you can make. That's all you can do. And stop focusing on that stuff. Because it poisons you. It does. It poisons you. I know because I was there. I have now officially detoxed after 18 years. Like I said, when the show's over, I just turn it off. I just turn that care. I don't care about it anymore. I've had my say. I've analyzed it. We've had the conversations, and then I just turn it off. And I start focusing on things that I think are more important. And I hope some of you can take that lesson to heart. I hope some of you, especially those who feel, anxious or agitated. I mean, you wonder why there's so much anxiety in the world today. I mean, why are they prescribing Xanax to everybody? And why is there this epidemic amongst young people, an anxiety epidemic of some kind of anxiety disorder? Why do you think that is? Well, it's that instantaneous information, and we're told that if we've got to care about it. If we don't care about it, then why? Why? Just take the time out this year. And I just think that I think you need to discover what's important. And that is what I hope you take away from what you take away from this here this morning. Okay. We're going to continue here in just a moment. One final segment, and phone lines are open. I had somebody on hold, but I wanted to get through that. So if you want to call back and share your Christmas memories, we'd love to hear 319-527-3864. We'll be back right after this.
Marty was pumped for Christmas.
Woo, I'm pumped for Christmas. Ow!
So Marty just bought himself everything he wanted.
Yeah.
Because Marty has no friends.
That turned dark. It's the Michael Dukes Show.
Okay. Let's continue on here. Let me see what else you guys have been saying while I was... Yes, Michael, your audience knows who Sisyphus is. I don't know. I just didn't want to assume, right? I realized I may have used something that maybe some people didn't understand. Sorry. Just wanted to make sure. Sourdough said I had the same epiphany in my 30s. And that's about where I was at. I was in my mid-30s when I discovered it, and I was like, wait a second. Let's see. It's all a distraction. The chat room is a good indicator of what people who listen to your show are thinking, and your audience is significantly more engaged than the average person. I mean, I like it. I mean, I love the chat room because it's an immediacy thing. It's an immediate because when I wasn't, I mean, I've had to do it where I did the show, something goes wrong with the chat room, and then I do the show without having the live stream. And it's, I mean, first of all, the commercial breaks are really quiet, and I'm just sitting there thinking, and I don't have any immediate reaction. So it's a good thing. Yeah. I only live for the day. I don't think about things in the world that's going on, and live my life the best I can with the people around me, said Chris. I think that, we have to, like I said, I kind of keep my finger on the pulse. I know what's going on, but I don't devote brain power to it. I don't worry about it after we say something, we talk about it. Bradley says, politics is one of the worst parts of this life, but you must pay attention to it closely. I had to learn to manage my emotions and not let it dictate my daily life. My life has been greatly improved now that I focus more on my relationship with Jesus, my wife, and my kids. Thankful for everything that I have in life and blessed that I live in Alaska. Yeah, I mean, I think you could pay attention to it. You don't have to pay close attention. I don't have to know the name of every cabinet member or some of this Tyler said or whatever. I don't have to remember all that. I can keep a basic eye on everything and not worry about it. Carlene's on the line. Just looked up and saw Carlene's on the phone. Carlene, hold the line. Well, we're going to be to you here in just a minute. It would be great. Lisa says, I don't even bother with it all anymore. I like listening to hear and seeing what everyone is saying here in the chat, and that's enough for me. Yeah, I agree. Fat Ray says, they could do that, or hear me out. The citizenry could hold the Congress critters accountable. Good luck. Good luck, brother. Never going to happen. That just is too much. It's if you're a student of history, you know what I'm talking about. That's, you know what I'm talking about. Try to educate yourself, but don't let it consume you. I've seen people pass away due to the stress of politics. I don't want to be them. Exactly. Killing themselves over something that you can't control. I appreciate you giving me political insights. Having to convince people to focus more on local instead of nationwide politics. We'd all be better for it. Yeah, I agree. And Fat Ray said, I'm an idealist, I suppose. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with being an idealist. I'm not trying to criticize you. I'm just saying I don't believe that will work. I don't believe that we can hold politicians accountable. I believe that they are beyond accountability, and historically that proves to be true, especially when we've grown it to the point to where we are today. The only thing that fixes things like this is they have to come crashing down and you start fresh again. They're very, I can't even think of an instance where they've been able to be ratcheted back in and held accountable without something catastrophic, being the catalyst for something like that. But it is what it is. I am Sisyphus. I feel that. Don't you feel that sometimes? That boulder just keeps getting heavier. They just keep getting heavier. Yeah. Sourdough does, I think, has a point. He said they've legislated themselves into protection from us holding them accountable. That's what happens when you have power. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. As much as we may want to change that and have our ideals to do so, I don't know as we can. And to waste the effort to try and do it when it's probably inevitably not going to work out. Doesn't mean that I stop fighting at the local level or stop talking about things. It's just I come to a point to where I do what I can do, and then I turn it off. I just flip that switch, and I'm like, I don't care about that anymore. Let me go focus on the important stuff. That's what I think I was trying to say more than anything else. All right, Carlene is on the line. It's been a minute since we've talked to Carlene. Yeah, it's been a hot minute. So let's see what she has to say, and we'll finish up the show for today. Dang, that was a fast show for really having nothing, nothing of substance to talk about. It's a fat net, but I've enjoyed it. It's been great. All right, let's get to it. Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, do all this stuff. Brian says, Merry Christmas, Carlene. So here we go. Let's do it to it. Okay, one final segment for today. Again, tomorrow, the final day of the show, Chris Chang will be joining us, Willie Waffle, and more. We're gonna have a great day. Phone lines are open, and it looks like Carlene from Kodiak is calling in. I believe it's been a hot minute since we talked to Carlene. Let's see what things are going on. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Michael, and Merry Christmas, Brian. Thank you. I have a different perspective.
Okay.
I'll be 75 next month, and I pray for wisdom anytime I read anything, the newspaper, the books, absolutely anything. And then I'm kind of led to go to other stations and other books and talk with people. And people have told me a lot of things that I don't share with anybody. But so I pray for wisdom for everything, and then I pray about everything, and then I just speak the truth if I can, and then sometimes my mind is really changed. My Bible is plumb wore out. It's just falling apart. I have others, but this one, every time I open it up, it has the answers I need. So I've learned to let go, and I just love deeply people at the borough assembly meetings and at the city council meetings, and when Miss Murkowski comes to town, or Dan Sullivan. And I love deeply other people, and I love the respect that I walk through stores, and there's so much respect because you have a lot of listeners who never call in.
Well,
but,
yeah.
So I just have a different perspective. I come home and open my Bible, and it says, I have placed my words in your mouth. And then other times I go to meetings and I say, please place your words in my mouth. And it's not up to me what they do with that. I just need to give details and facts and maybe my opinion. And sometimes that opinion is changed. But our city council, you can tell they love Kodiak. They just love, you just see how serious, and I love them deeply. The borough assembly, they're all people that have been moved to Kodiak within the last 20 years or sooner, 3 years even. And it's more about power and control. So I just listen and listen, and I learn how to be civil and respectful. Sometimes I'm so wrong. I really give a piece of my mind, and then I just hate it afterwards, about people showing up to meetings, the assembly showing up to meetings. But it's just a real learning process. I'm learning all the time. And the thing is, we can affect things. You can call Lisa Murkowski and tell her the things that she does do that you really appreciate, or Dan Sullivan, how he's trying to protect Alaska. And you can tell people, and I've watched people be so respectful to me, even when I'm so wrong. And so I just love them more and more deeply. I love the Barbara Haney's and the Kevin McCabe's and the Kyle. It turns out he lives right behind me. He was a detective. So There's a lot of history, but there's a lot of things that I can't talk about because people have shared their lives and it's so private.
Right.
And it just makes me love them all the more. And I appreciate your forum. Thank you, Michael.
Well, thank you, Carlene. And look, I don't want people to think that I'm saying don't engage, don't try and make a difference. What's what we try and do on the program. I think more than anything, what my whole point of that was trying to say is find the off switch. Once you've had your say, once you've tried to make a difference, you do what you can do, then move on to something else until the next thing comes up, right? I think what really hurts us is when we ruminate on things that, we've done what we can do, but then we ruminate on the outcome of it. All we can do is what we can do. And I think that's kind of where I'm at on this thing, is just understanding that there is a certain amount that, we can take care of. And then there's a certain amount that we have no control over, to know the things that we can change and to understand the difference between the two and make that decision. And that's what I'm trying to get people to think of.
Yes, and it's possible that the very cells of our body are affected by these things.
Oh yeah. I mean, stress and this kind of stuff, I mean, it will kill. And if you get agitated and you're angry and I feel much better than I did 18 years ago when I was angry all the time and frustrated all the time. I definitely feel better now than I did then. So anyway, Carlene, we wish you a Merry Christmas. We thank you for calling in. Thank you for listening to the show, and thanks for being part of it. I hope you have a happy holiday season.
Thank you, Michael.
Appreciate you calling in. 319-527-3864. If you want to sound off here in the last few minutes of the show, I've got a few. I mean, a couple people disagreed with me in the chat room. Fat Ray said, that he said, hear me out. We could do what you said, or we, the citizenry, could hold the Congress accountable. And I think it's a laudable goal. I think it's he said, maybe I'm an idealist. And I think it is. It's an ideal to do that. But I don't think that that's possible today based on what we have going on. So I'll still point it out. I'll still make my comment, maybe make you think about it, but I'm not going to ruminate on it. I'm not going to keep thinking about it. I'm going to have my say and move on. I'm going to have my say, do what I can do, and then move on. And I guess that's what I'm encouraging you guys to do. Figure out where the off switch is, right? Figure out that after you've had your say and you've thought about it, you've come to your conclusion, you've done your thing, then have your say and then just turn the switch off and don't think about it anymore in that regard. I mean, don't ruminate. I mean, you could think, you know what I mean? And yeah, and Fat Ray just said it. There's a line between caring and obsessing. And I think what we have today is we have obsessing. And that has to do with social media and the algorithm and instantaneous news and everything else. That's why shows like this near the end of the year are so good for me personally, because it helps to remind me that there is more. outside of politics. You know, there's more than that. We have more in common with those that we think are on the opposite side of the scale than we know. And we just don't see it anymore because we've been told that because they're just different. They're different species, right? That's how it's treated in a lot of ways. Just go out there and love them. Love them. Remember, David says, love conquers all, even fear. Because I tell you that you were not given the spirit of fear, but of faith. That's what it says. You were not given the spirit of fear, but of faith. And I have faith. I know how it ends. I read the book. I mean, it could be nasty between now and then, but I know that in the end, it wins. You know, we win. That's there will be something beyond. So it's a good thing. All right. Well, I've got my list of things. We're doing some cooking today. Going to do some Christmas cooking, some extra stuff. I'm going to get Grandma Faye's bread pudding recipe this afternoon, get it ready this afternoon because it's got to soak overnight. I'm going to have it for this weekend. We got to get our Christmas movies out, start cracking them open, and get ready to go, and put the politics aside. I'm not going to read the news from tomorrow until probably January the 3rd or 4th when I have to start doing show prep. I'm not going to read the news at all. I hope you'll take that time out with me. I really do. I hope you'll take that time out with me. All right, my friends. It's Thursday. Tomorrow's the final show. Don't forget to go put up your recipes on the recipe contest. And don't forget, if you're in the Southern Peninsula on Sunday, come out and watch the Muppets with us at 1 p.m. at the Porcupine. Merry Christmas, my friend. We will see you guys tomorrow morning for the final show of the year. Have a good one. Ho, ho, ho. Okay. Well, my friends, that wraps another show for today. I mean, that was dang. I mean, was that not just quick? It's kind of crazy, isn't it? Thank you for all that called in, Brian. Thanks so much, Carlene and Bob and Ron, and thanks for calling in today. We love it. And yeah, Chris, go finish mailing out your Christmas cards today. Get it done. All right, my friends. We will see you guys tomorrow morning, bright and early, 6 a.m. Be here or be there. Be square. We'll see you. Be kind. Love one another. Live well. We will see you later. The Michael Duke Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free thinking radio.
Thank you.